Welcome everyone to episode 28 of the Video Game Book Club. I'm Tubby Mora, and today I am joined by Shai Shen, Mr. McMahon, Bajirwin, Nakuso, and Genji. Say hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello, everyone.
Ciao.
Dang, 28.
28, we in. So this time around, we are going to be focusing on Cosmic Star Heroine. This game was locked in by Shai Shen for July 2022 JRPG month. Cosmic Star Heroine was developed and published by Z-Boyd Games and was originally released on April 11th, 2017 for PC and PS4. So on Cosmic Star Heroine's Steam page, it reads, quote, Alyssa LaSalle was one of the top secret agents at the Agency of Peace and Intelligence on the planet Arenu. I butchered that. But when she uncovers a horrible conspiracy, she has to go rogue in order to save the day. Can Alyssa save the galaxy when everyone and everything is out to stop her? So that's how the Steam page describes the game. How would everyone here describe the game? Question 1. Describe the game in one sentence.
All right. So, Cosmic Star Heroine, that's the name. That's the longest name in the world.
Definitely.
I would say it's a cosmically battle in the stars with one heroine and a bunch of aliens.
Dang.
Cosmically.
Beautiful.
It's beautiful. Now that's grammar.
There's a lot of punctuation in the middle, so it makes sense when you read it on paper.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Run-on sentence. You good?
Yeah. All right, next.
Okay. Cosmic Star Heroine. It's an out-of-this-world sci-fi turn-based RPG where you play as Alyssa LaSalle, an agent, an agent of the space FBI, essentially, and fight alongside your space friends in an effort to save the galaxy. Next.
Dang.
God.
Galaxy.
Well, none of us know how to pronounce their names, so it's really funny.
LaSalle.
Pronounced it wrong. See, I thought it was LaSalle this whole time. Okay, whatever. But whatever. Cosmic Star Heroine is a sci-fi RPG that somehow includes what? Ghosts, magic, and some of the most unique characters to ever defend the galaxy. Or try to destroy it. I'm not entirely sure anymore.
All right, for me, I will describe it as an old school JRPG with some modern quality of life twists. Join Alyssa LaSalle on her quest to save the universe from the evils of hive mind thinking. Next.
So I feel that when I read the description for the game, I was like, wait a second.
Yeah?
It's a team effort. There's not only one. So instead, I have a team of intergalactic beings gathers to stop the Agency of Peace when it tries to cover up a conspiracy that will assimilate the galaxy.
Ooh.
Next.
So, it's a modern improvement on a classic RPG that I have forgotten the name of, with cool intergalactic space twists that will leave you feeling satisfied generally.
Wait, do you really not know what the name of the game is?
I did until I just had to record it.
Nice. I think it's called like comic. No, actually, it's funny because we all had the same problem in the yesterday's recording session. Like everybody was like, "Wait a second, what's the name of the game again?" Starship Heroine.
Yeah,
Cosmic Star.
Well, it was the name for it was the RPG on like. Reminds me of like I think the N64 or something.
Yeah, it definitely gives that vibe.
Fantasy Star?
Fantasy Star Heroine.
Yeah.
Star Ocean Heroine.
We go Chrono Trigger.
Oh yeah.
With Chrono Trigger sort of vibes and elements and that. I forgot the name of the game. Next.
It's all good. Question 2. What platform did you play the game on? And briefly describe your playstyle towards the game.
All right. Well, I played on my GBA. No, I'm just I played on my on Steam and used a controller Pretty good. Was it? Well, I don't know. Like gameplay wise, I kept on switching characters, so that thing really stuck with me. I mean, I always kept the main characters. Lissandra. What's her name?
Yeah, no, that's correct. Cassandra.
I stuck with her, and then I just
have a choice though.
Yeah,
You couldn't change her though.
and then if I had the choice, yeah, I always chose. Oh my god, I don't. There's so many people.
Just describe the character.
All right, I chose the dude with the detective with the gun.
All right.
Because so I had him.
Chungur.
I had freaking what's it? Gunmancy girl.
Oh. Yeah, her girlfriend. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I also have Drone Girl, but that kind of came out the equation.
Oh yeah, spoiler alert.
Yeah.
That's fine. Go ahead.
I had Drone Girl, but she just switched sides, and I did not know who to add to my team, so I added another damage over time character. So I added the bug guy.
Hell yeah.
Saidi.
Oh,
Yeah.
Bugs Life the movie.
Yeah, so I added him. So and then I just ran down every enemy with I just defended, and then they just melted.
All right. What difficulty did you play on?
No, I played on norm. Normal and low. Because I couldn't figure out. Because honestly, I couldn't figure out the stat stuff. I tried looking it up.
It's in the. It's actually in the game. The tutorial.
Yeah,
Not tutorial. The guide.
I didn't get it, and then I figured it out at the end. So I was like, oh. But I still play normal, easy. Just kept on switching back.
Fair enough.
A lot of, and I'm mostly just reading. A lot of dialogue. So I played a dialogue simulator. What's it called?
Visual novel.
Oh no, yeah, novel, digital novel, or whatever.
Night.
But yeah,
These are all about that storytelling, you know.
that's me. Yeah, I bought everything. Credits. That's pretty cool.
So your team though consisted of main character LaSalle, Gunmancy girl, Drone girl, and detective Chungus.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
But don't forget
that's me. That's me.
Towards the end, so who did you have before that?
Oh.
What?
Whatever the game forced you to have.
Oh yeah, whatever the game gave me. And then when it got to the middle where you got access and stuff, I was like, okay, I'm only gonna use these guys for a bit. But yeah, that's me. Next.
All right.
Cool. I played Cosmic Star Heroine on the Nintendo Switch. Took me just about under 10 hours to beat. Yeah, 9.8 or something like that. I was mostly only playing the main story. I maybe did 1 or 2 side quests. As for my team, I had Alyssa, of course. Gunmancy girl.
All right.
Yeah.
Choices.
I bet you did too. The bug, Bug's Life.
Bugs Life.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yup. And then the badass homie with the beard and the sunglasses with the girl's name. Sue.
Sue?
Oh, Sue.
Heck yeah.
Want the Sue.
Yeah.
Sue, my boy.
That's the homie. Yeah. So for this game, I for whatever reason felt the need to start the game on the hardest difficulty. I don't know. It just so happened. It just so happened when I first booted up the game, that day, I just woke up with big balls or something. I don't know. Yeah, bad idea. Shortly after realizing that this game wasn't your ordinary turn-based combat, I tuned it down to the second hardest difficulty. Still
third?
trying to maintain my masculinity and stuff.
Yeah,
the third one.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then shortly after realizing I still sucked at the game, I just turned it down to the easiest setting.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, the very easiest. And then as emasculated as I felt, I really felt the need to do so. If I wanted to make any sort of progress whatsoever and get a grasp on the combat and the statistics and all that, there's a lot to wrap your head around.
Yeah.
They throw a lot at you in the beginning of the game, and it's just whoa, okay, hold on.
Cosmic Star Heroine when you played those.
Nope. I felt like a Cosmic Star pussy. But after maybe 2 or 3 hours, I was starting to get the hang of it, so I bumped it up to the back to the second hardest difficulty.
Normal.
Yeah, I had to do a little bit of research just to, kind of figure out what was going on. What the heck am I doing? And that's where I really stayed for the rest of my gameplay until the completion. Yeah, that's it. Next.
All right.
Okay, so I played on Steam, and I used a USB controller called a Hyperkin.
Dang, a Hyper.
Wow.
Yeah, I got it from...
Is that Mad Cats?
MSRP rating of $29.99.
Got it from the hookups at Big Red's.
Dang, Big
what's
Red.
up?
Check them out.
Yeah, it still works after like a year and a half of owning this. I'm just saying, it's a good controller.
Actually, that's pretty good.
Plug.
Hey, represent. I want them to grow and prosper. Anyway,
Respect.
so for like 99% of the game, I played on Agent or like normal. So like on a scale of 1 to 4 of the hard difficulty, it was like 2, I guess. And then there's like one fight I had to go to tourist or like the easy mode because I just kept dying. It was near the end. I don't know if anyone knows what I'm talking about.
No, I know what you're talking about. It got pretty
you do?
intense.
It was
Yep.
like one monster
There's a lot
towards
going
the
on at the end.
It was a single one, and for some reason, it would do the absolute most damage, and it would kill my main healer like first round. And I'm like, okay, cool, love that. And I'm like, I have to finish this game right now, so I'm just gonna go to tourist and hope that works. And it did. And then I bumped it right back up and finished the game on normal mode.
I swear I finished it on normal. I never lowered it.
Yeah.
99%, okay? 99%. Just one fight only.
And I know exactly what you're talking about.
Thank you. Okay. Like, dude, that was painful. But oh gosh.
Yeah.
I obviously chose the OG Alyssa Linguini.
Yep.
Come on, I mean, come on. You can't change the main character. That's crazy. It's weird.
You don't have a
Who does
choice?
that? What are you talking? Shh. And for the beginning half, I kind of jumped around with the characters because I didn't realize how many party members you'd end up having. So like I tried all of them out at some point. I switched Dave out, which is like the computer dude, pretty early on. I used Sue for a good chunk of like 2.5 hours. I had a weird addiction to the Lauren like pop star girl because she had that one move where you can just... She does more damage if they're full health or something, and I just kept using that on all of them.
Oh, the first
I love
hit
that
thing?
move. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So then when I finally had a full squad, I was... Basically, it was just, main chick, and then a bunch of weird species, because then I stuck with Cybe, Bugman, Detective, Purple Slurpee Man, whatever the heck I don't know what he is. Lupian.
Chungian.
Yeah, and then I had Chan for a while, actually, because she had fire. And I just used it all the time. But my final squad ended up rotating a lot, and I had Chan, Bugman, and then I finally put Dave back in because I didn't realize how cool his moves would get towards the end. I took him out so early, I didn't know what abilities he got, so when I finally looked around and I saw online that people had put him in for his good buffs and stuff, I'm like, oh wait, let me
The
try.
strongest buff debuff.
I never put him back in.
Yeah, me too. It's like, nah,
I kind of wish I had that. Yeah, I was like, what a nerd.
Yeah, but I
No,
thought
thank
he
you.
was cool, but I just didn't care enough at the time because I'm like, I want to try everyone else out. And
Yeah.
yeah, he ended up being on my final team because I needed to
Dang,
keep
he made the
everyone
cut.
alive.
You made the cut.
Yeah, he did. I only did a few side quests, including but not limited to removing the rats from that one town. That was really important to me. I wanted that guy to feel safe, so I just scared
rat
all the
tornado.
rats away. Yeah, references. Anyway, I think that's pretty much. I tried at least every character at least once.
There you go. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody gets love.
I even attempted to buff things and stuff. I actually tried to kill things in one round. Which I normally just strong arm one character and the rest are just healing, but
The
I
only
did
way
it
to
this
do
time.
it.
Yeah, that's how you play.
I tried to change it up this time. It was an interesting game. Next.
Yeah. Fair enough, though, about you guys. It's interesting that you guys are mentioning changing difficulties mid-gameplay. Because, yeah, if you actually play on hard, I think that was a good place to keep it, actually. Because it was challenging, but it wasn't brain dead, you know?
Okay.
But, man, yeah, this game, there were so many systems in place, and it was very in-depth game. So
I like it.
It's interesting that you guys were moving around in difficulty. It's good, though. It's good. So, as usual, I played the PS4 port version of the game on the PS5. That's literally just been my theme for the year. Ran great, actually. Didn't have any problems, which surprisingly, in yesterday's recording, a lot of people had problems with the Steam version of the game. So that was interesting. I'm not sure about you guys if you had any issues. Well, I'm not sure what platform you played on. Did either of you play on Steam or?
I played on Steam. I had zero issues at all. It ran perfectly, really well.
Okay. Yeah. Yesterday, Shaishan and Badruin had issues for some reason.
Do they have newer PCs or older PCs?
They both have some newer PCs, and I know Shaishan's computer is pretty powerful too. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on. But Playstyle. So I played about 1/4 of the game on hard difficulty. I realized I wasn't progressing fast enough to actually finish the game in time, so I dropped it down to normal. And then when I got to the final set of bosses, I dropped it down one more time to beat one specific boss. I think if I had leveled up a bit, probably could have beaten it normally and probably on hard. I just was not getting through the game fast enough at the rate I was going, the pace I was going. So, but yeah, I focused purely on the main missions. I didn't really touch any of the side missions. In fact, about 75% through the game, that's when I realized that just like in any JRPG, there were specific quests available for your companions. You just had to talk to them at a specific point in the game. So I didn't realize that was a thing. That was pretty interesting. Playstyle wise, if we're talking about who was in my party when we weren't being forced to have specific characters, I would typically run Alyssa because you don't have a choice. Gunmancy Girl, the singer, and the fourth slot would usually be that nerd dude, hacking abilities, or whatever fourth member they force you to have. So yeah, that's how I kind of played it. Next.
All right, so I played the game on Steam on Heroine difficulty, the second last one. So that would be the hard difficulty. And I played it all the way through on hard. I didn't falter on anything.
Beautiful.
That surprisingly wasn't too bad, besides not even the last boss. That wasn't I mean, that last boss, that looked like it was scripted. But anyway, before we get to that, it was scripted how I beat it because I was super lucky. But for the first 4 or 5 chapters, I mostly used the starting party with the fourth slot being any of the new characters. Later on, it really depended on the area I was in and where the enemies were, because depending on that specific area and on hard difficulty, you want to think a little bit more about your team, since some elements might affect other enemies more for their weakness. Mostly on, like I said, I used Alyssa, Lauren, the basic team that you start with, Chan and Dave. But later on, I added Orson and Arete, and sometimes Saibi, the ant-looking alien species.
Bug's Life. Okay.
I pretty much did a good. I even had Clark on my team and Finn.
The human.
So I had a pretty good. Yeah, Finn was. Wait, what?
What? Who's Finn again?
That's Alyssa's cousin.
Oh, the police dude. Okay.
Yeah, I used him. I used pretty much everyone decent. Oh, it's because I did his side quests and stuff. Which was cool.
Okay.
So I remember everyone's name because that's how I know I care about a game if I remember.
That's good. Complete opposite of yesterday's group.
Yeah. And I did half of the side quests, mostly for Finn and Chan. the gun emancy quest. That was a pretty difficult one. And then Finn's was really funny. It was like a zombie apocalypse scenario. So that was a really interesting take. You go back to the first planet and stuff, to the Agency of Peace. And it's like all
that's
infected
pretty
with
cool.
zombies and stuff.
I like that.
Sue's, I attempted a little bit of it, but I wasn't strong enough. But that one was interesting too. I also did fight a world boss that appeared later on. It was not the one Cthulhu, which was, spoilers, the Easter egg. It was another world boss. I believe it's also from Cthulhu Saves the World, the game that they also created. So there were some pretty cool like Easter eggs. And speaking of Easter eggs, I seen quite a bit. I explored most of what the game offered, even if it is linear. I looked at and talked to most of the NPCs at least a couple of times to see if any of the dialogue changed, and sometimes it did. On the first planet, I didn't notice any of the dialogue changing when I went back there for the side quest with Finn, so that was a little bit of a disappointment. But otherwise, I would say a good 60 to 70% of the game. And I didn't have any major issues like in crashing. I have some other issues, but I might talk about it later if it doesn't get brought up next.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Just curious first, what was everyone's party member regarding the, like, not the four main ones, but the little side one?
The fourth member?
Yeah, so you've got the four characters, and then you can edit your play. So you've got, for example, you've got Kevin, you've got Vendor, Thompson, Mike, all that give those little boosts to your party.
Oh, yeah.
Just curious, what
depended on like just what enemies I were fighting at the time. For the most part, I use healing a lot. The healing effect plus, and also the damage to robots.
Okay, interesting. So I ended up through the part when you, I think it's when you land on the thing and you have to do certain things like the rock, paper, scissors and all that kind of stuff. I unlocked Kevin.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, I have him too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which grant the 15 bonus health regeneration, which I think impacted how I played the game a little bit because I had that regeneration through for most of the game. So I played it on PC. I ran through the game with Alyssa, Clark, Saibi, and Chan. I found that Clark really late game was really good because he had a lot of self-destruct killing himself abilities.
That was a great character.
If you get him to a high enough level, he unlocks the ability that the next thing that would kill him, like ability, wouldn't kill him. So what you could do is you could stack up a lot of his ability, like his powers and that, and build it up so that way when he did the most damage, you could set off like a self-destruct that would do huge damage but would then not kill him. So it was a really good way to just mass up damage really, really quickly. And then you mix that with Saib, who the little ant creature, who depending on the abilities, you could have it so that he would have the songs. So I was able to have healing going on through him, have healing going on through Kevin, and then focus on mass damage or change it up to just damaging everyone constantly, which was really useful near the end when you had the final bosses. I played through on normal the entire game. That's usually how I play most games that I'm not familiar with, and I found the game to be a bit on the easier side. Never changed it up difficulty-wise, though I was happy to play along. And didn't realize there were side missions until after beating the game. However, there was a moment where I went into the game where I came across a part where it was talking about like the master of gunmancy or something. I'm like, oh, I feel like maybe
like
if
a
I take
mission.
Yep. I'm kind of like, oh, maybe if I, bring him back at some point, maybe there'll be something that happens. And I just never bothered to go back because I may or may not have forgotten and realized when I got to the point where I had to, where I couldn't go back to anything because it was the point of no return. I'm like, oh, maybe I should have checked that out. I also did try fighting Cthulhu when I was like level 20 or something and got my ass handed to me.
Right,
so that
classic.
that was a fun thing. So I was like, maybe I should come back to that one again later. And then I forgot where I could find Cthulhu, so I never bothered to go back to that either.
Point of no return, man. They weren't kidding.
Yeah, pretty much so. And then also running the party with some of the bosses near the end of the game with the bonus XP, so I grinded through that a bit to get the bonus XP to get to a slightly higher level before taking on the final boss.
Okay.
So so that's how I played it. Next.
Question 3. What is one thing you liked about the game?
One thing I liked about the game, so if we go through like other JRPGs and stuff, it's just a static. You learn the characters by just dialogue. This one, I was actually really surprised. Unlike every once in a while, or frequently actually, they would do a pixel cut screen.
Oh, cutscene?
Yeah, or cutscene. Like, I was actually surprised, especially at the end.
Oh,
like where it kind of cleared up with everybody.
Yeah,
like what happened. Like that one surprised me a lot. I thought it'd be like, you have completed the galaxy. Here you go. Here's your achievement. But no, it showed you like what everybody's doing after that. That's the part I really like. Like just seeing, even when like you enter a room and the villain enters the room, just like small stuff like that just changes the, what do you call it? Like the more like increases your attention span to the game when you're not just reading dialogue the whole time.
More engrossed.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. That's the thing I really enjoyed about the game. Like just seeing it's cool just to see the pixels on the screen, they talk, and casual movements of like the smaller animations in the background, but having like the entrance of people or like the actions actually saying in like small tiny cutscenes. I freaking love that.
Yeah, that's that's classic JRPG actually. The old school
Really?
ones. Yeah, where they would do like, like that basic over the top kind of art style, almost like chibi looking. And then when it comes to like these key moments, they will change like a super high realistic rendering.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'm just not too familiar with old RPGs.
Yeah, it's like just ask anyone who played Final Fantasy VII. I mean, yeah, it looks like, let's be honest, it looks like crap right now. But the old school back in the day, man, people. Those Cloud with the 3 little nubs on his arms, people were like, "Holy crap, that's so realistic!"
Their jeans over that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm just not too familiar with RPGs. Not really. I grew up on Call of Duty. Okay.
Yeah, so also it was definitely very interesting. So I'm curious to see what everybody thought about this game, especially the generation that didn't really grow up with the old school JRPG. So,
definitely.
Yeah, this is like a mixture of what works in modern RPGs and taking elements from the old school stuff. So it's pretty cool.
All right, that considering I don't have enough experience of old JRPGs, my favorite thing about it was space. It was in space and it was cool.
All right.
Yeah.
Was it the pixels you spent 5 minutes talking about? It's the space.
I changed it up. I like space.
You like space?
I like how there's spaceship.
No more cutscenes. I just want the space.
Yeah, I changed my mind. All right, next.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Space. One thing I liked about the game, I really like the team compositions in the game. By that, specifically, I mean that depending on what level you were on or what stage of the game you were on, you would sometimes have companions that had to either come along or you couldn't swap them out. Like you're stuck with them. But also at times you could also customize the rest of your team, but also sometimes you couldn't. And that was really cool. The game gives you the opportunity to customize your team, but then sometimes takes away that customization. And that forced me to step out of my comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to try something different in order to succeed. And it was during these times of the game that I'd be swapping out character after character, trying out different synergies to match my team and the enemies that you're fighting and the environment that I'm given. I've always appreciated these kinds of challenges that games present. So yeah, team comps, really cool. You're never really stuck to one. You were always changing things up, whether you liked it or not. Yeah. That's it. Next.
So, kind of relating to that, something I really liked about this game, because I've played a lot of JRPGs specifically, and with the big ones like Tales and Final Fantasy, they tend to have, like, what's the word? not just stereotypes, the fancier English word that we use in class. Archetypes. Sure, let's go with that one.
Archetype.
You know,
What is it?
And they're all like based on like what their weapon is. Like in Tales games, it's like usually a sword main character, and you have some sort of staff, wand, healer, magic character. You know, they all fit the same thing,
like the classic
right?
archetype. Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. That's still fun. It's still good. And sometimes they do a spin on it, but this one just kind of threw all of that out the window. And said, whatever this character I design, I'm just gonna make their fighting style match their character exactly. There's no archetypes. It's whatever. I don't even necessarily know what some of them were fighting with half the time. Because like
the demons.
Some of them had they were stronger against ghost enemies, and I'm like, not a lot of RPGs have ghost type enemies. So it's cool because like, yeah, you still had elements, but you had different species specific buffs or debuffs. You had this one chick that mixed magic and guns together.
Oh, sick.
For example,
You had a giant ant. You had a disco robot.
You have an ant that uses his singing ability to heal.
Oh yeah.
And it's just like it was so unique to each character, and that made me want to try all the different characters in the party and like rotate them out and try out new builds because of how they could work together or not work together and like switch out all their abilities and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And you weren't limited to just their abilities; you also had their programs. I think that's what it's called. Kind of like
tied to their armor, I think.
Their
or their
burst
shield.
abilities, but not the burst in the game, because that is a different term altogether. But like program bursts, I guess. I don't know what to call it. It's the third tab.
Rogue?
The third tab is items, I think.
No, the items is second.
Oh, that's the shield abilities on the third tab.
Yeah. I mean, without those programs, though, I would not have probably beat up some of these bosses as quickly as I did. So I just thought that was just so. It was a nice change from all the JRPGs I played, where like you fought, they only do one element and they
felt
are this
very
kind of
unique.
character. Yes,
Yeah.
and I can't stop talking about it. It was that amazing for me. It was bravo. Thank you so much for giving me something dumb like fighting with drones or a bug that sings or a guy who literally poisons himself but
It's beautiful.
the stronger the more close to death he is. Next.
Yeah, which is interesting. And I didn't think about it until Noxo brought it up. There is one other JRPG that has a similar style that this game is probably based off of, and you probably heard of it.
Chrono Trigger.
Correct. Yep, that's the game where it was like of course it had like JRPG elements, but it broke a lot of conventions too with how parties are set up and how it's played story wise. Yeah. Well, I haven't played it either. I just know of it. Probably like see. But yeah. So if you really enjoyed this, Chrono Trigger might be a good one day. Maybe one day.
Yeah.
I love the amount of depth the combat systems had to offer. Like the variety of like different status ailments, elemental types, character synergies, items, weapons, shields. There was so much packed mechanically into this game, and everything like highly encouraged you to experiment how you would approach each fight. Now it's funny because I think the difficulty you select in the game, at least for me, will ultimately determine how involved you will be with learning and experiencing the game mechanics and combat. Like I remember when I was playing on hard, like the first 4 chapters, like every encounter I ran into, like I had to actually plan and execute. Like how would I execute buffs A, B, and C, or should I wait a turn, store up power, then release it all at once, or burst, or should I stall for time until everyone's abilities reset? Like when I was playing on hard, I was actively engaged in thinking, like how exactly am I gonna get through this fight? And some of the fights, like especially the boss ones, it usually came pretty close, which was great. Like it was exciting. And the moment I switched to normal, because of what I said before, like I realized I did not have enough time left to finish it before the month ended. At that point, it was just like rinse and repeat. I just hit AoE damage repeatedly, and then everything dies. So it was interesting, like playing a good chunk of the game on hard and then normal. I would say if you are definitely into RPGs, JRPGs, definitely play this game on hard. I think it's a good balance between difficulty and keeping yourself engaged with the game, especially if you have quite a bit of experience with these style of games. I'd highly recommend playing on hard, because that was the best. During those moments, that's when I had the most fun with the game, and it really helped shine how deep the combat systems were. And I don't think you can get that if you're only playing on easy. In fact, you can probably just turn off your brain and just do normal attacks and be okay. But yeah, that is one thing I liked about the game. Combat systems were great.
I feel very called out right now at the moment, Tubby, by that.
What?
Playing through on normal.
I said on easy. I said on easy.
Okay, because I was going to say, because the normal was very much like, okay, I know that this works. I know that if I do this at this point with this doing this, I will do massive damage. I was like, rinse and repeat over and over again for the most part. I'm like, I have Ant-Man, I have Robot Guy. I can just power them up and just do that over and over again, and I will 90% of the time win the fights without too many issues.
I would say, Genji, like, you don't have to do it like anytime soon, but just even play like the first 30 minutes of this game on hard, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Like,
that's
how
interesting.
Yeah, how close. Oh, go ahead.
Because you said Clark is one thing that Genji said. Clark later on, actually, when he got that ability, like probably like a couple of chapters after, I stopped using him because I found like better characters to use in that scenario. He wasn't as good.
So I found
hard difficulty.
Okay, so his save and quit ability, where the next ability that will kill Clark doesn't. If you mix that up to the point where he gets the little squares that once it maxes out does bonus damage, doing that along with like self-destruct where it will die and damage your end target, or there's a few things where you, like, for example, because there are a lot of robots running glitch where it was triple damage to robotics, or electrify, which was increased damage with each use per battle. So just starting that early on, because it could get to the point where it would do 600% damage, was just really useful. But mixing save and quit so it doesn't kill him with the exploit, I found to be really useful. I was doing thousands of points of damage per attack.
Good.
Oh yeah, I was doing that, but enemies like later on hard have more health. They deal more elements to you. They can't let the battle go on for too long, or they'll stop doing a lot of damage.
Yeah, I noticed that too. Yep.
Yeah. See, I found to be really useful late game, because for myself, I would there were a few points where he would get to the point where he's in negative health, and then get him to self-destruct, and he was one-shotting some. He was almost at one point one-shotting some of the later enemies, at least for my playthrough.
Man, I'm guessing when you got to the final boss, I'm guessing you were just one-shotting the multi-forms, right?
Not necessarily one-shotting, but I don't think I had to. I may have had to reset the boss once, but I pretty much cruised through the entire boss without any issues with the team setup that I had. So whether or not that came from playing on normal and being a little bit higher level through the experience with a couple of the especially that one boss near the end where it was pretty much he would instant kill everyone on your team. So having the bonus XP for those bosses meant that I was able to level up a little bit higher than I think some other people might have.
Yeah, it was so funny because the time I lored it, I don't know if this is a spoiler. I'll try not to spoil it, but during that portion of that final boss like phase, the first person you fight, I'm just gonna say, God, whatever. Spoiler alert! Spoiler tag. That one girl with the drones,
robots.
Yeah, her.
Arete.
She was the one that caused me to actually lower. After that, though, I put it back and I was fine.
Really?
Yeah. So,
oh, she was the easiest for me.
I don't know, maybe it was my setup, but after her, that the one where they had multi-phase, I was one-shotting that every single time at that point. Mm-hmm. It was literally that one. Maybe if I go back and actually look at like what I had set up, I was just getting destroyed. That's why I lowered it once.
Yeah.
But it's interesting though that you're because that's why the playstyle question is interesting, because it's everybody had like such different like setups, And you'll see
I
when
hated-
you watch it back. Go on, Genji.
I hated Clark early on, like when I first had him. I absolutely hated him. Like I thought he was just a really bad character. But once I put him on my team and got him to level up and spent more time with him on the party, I realized my thought was at least that he was really good. And my initial perspective of him, where I hated him, completely vanished.
Dang. Favorite character, Genji?
Yeah,
Robo
all the
dancing?
characters,
Uh,
all the characters are
the
useful.
the
on their
ant.
own.
Wait,
Oh, the
what?
ant. The
The
ant
ant?
carried me.
The ant. Probably,
Anthony?
He's the he is the closest character that I could resemble to Elden Ring regarding the
Dang.
questions.
Fair enough. So FMA? No, KFM? Anyways, all
would
right. Next, go Noxo.
All right. Well, the combat was really good. That was one of my top likes. However, I'll pick another one just to change it up. What I liked about the game is the soundtrack.
Ooh.
Had that retro Sega CD, that era of techno music, that hype music.
Yep.
Sometimes I had the heroic music during like bosses, and I was like really shocked to notice the variety of musical tracks. I think there's 100 or over 100 or something I was looking at.
Dang.
I definitely know like in every area, I noticed like the music was always different, or when you got to a important part. So I was like blown away of like all the music, because usually when you play like older indie games, they don't have like a huge variety of music, depending, because mostly of budget reasons and smaller teams.
Mhm.
But this one had way more music than I thought, and I think for each character encounter and or planet, especially when you get to the end credit scene, there's like a theme for every character pretty much.
Lauren
I was like,
singing.
yeah, freaking Clark's theme was like the best though. Like
Oh my
that
God.
music.
Oh
I was
yeah,
like,
the disco
I was
dancing.
like,
music.
yeah, that was like
That was funny.
some of those songs. I was like, man, I could actually put those in a playlist and like listen to. They were so good. And I was yeah, I was pretty much just really surprised by the different music in the game, and I guess also the sound effects too feel pretty good for the hits and different effects that were happening. So,
Yeah.
so overall, the sound quality top notch.
You know what it
Very
was missing
surprising.
though. You know what it was missing, and then I didn't realize was there was no footsteps or anything either. I was like,
I
okay.
didn't notice that usually in those old games, any footsteps.
I blame walled arms. It's like similar
See,
style.
this goes back to you saying how good Clark's music was. Goes back to him being the best character.
So Genji, he is the best character.
Clearly, except for Ant-Man.
He's second. He's second.
When
Ant-Man's
was the
number
last
one.
game you played? When was the last game you played as an ant?
Bug's Life on the PlayStation.
See, it's been like 3 decades at this point.
Yeah, or that one game where you're like playing as like a spider. It's like a fighting game. You can play as like a spider and a snake. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, games.
You
You
can play as a spider and a snake,
play
like
as
creepy
an ant.
crawlers. I don't remember what it's called. Maxim might know.
Empires of Undergrowth. You play as a ant.
I don't think that's what it was, but sure. I'll find it after this after the recording.
I don't know what's happening, but all right.
Do you know what I'm talking about? You don't know what I'm talking about, Nuxo? That fighting game where you can play as like a spider and like a literal spider, by the way, like realistic.
No.
No? Okay, all right. I'll show it to you afterwards. But okay. Who are we on? Genji now?
Are you finished, Nikutsu?
Yeah, I'm finished.
Okay.
Okay. Cool. So I feel like the game. There's a few things. Are we talking about just one thing or
One thing.
Okay. Oh. Okay. Has anyone talked about in yesterday's recording? Did anyone talk about the down system?
No.
Cool. Okay, I'll jump into that then. So the system where you have to risk staying alive and having your character die, I think is a really unique one where if your character goes down, they can still wake. They can still make one more attack, but it does increase damage. So you've got the risk versus reward system in that one. So if you're downed, it doesn't mean that's game over. and I found that a few times in some battles that if the last attack I did was the one that got me to kill the enemy, so it was just a really unique way of handling a way to reverse the risk of going, well, do I heal my character, or do I try and get in a little bit more damage in the hopes of killing him or supporting my team? So I can do bonus healing, or I could do bonus damage, and that could be the one thing that turns the tide from the battle in the enemy's favor versus it in your favor. I don't think I've ever seen a game do something like that before. I
agree.
I think it's just a really unique system that I've not seen any other game do. And I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think any other game's done something like that before.
Actually, wait, because Genji, you played Octopath, right?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, the same team that made that, they made a game before that was pretty popular. It's called Bravely Default. Very similar
on the DS.
Yeah, very similar idea where it's kind of like risk versus reward, damage output versus holding back.
Okay. So I've only played a very little bit of Bravely Default on the 3. I think it may have come out on the DS, but I played it on the 3DS.
Yeah.
Or it may have been on the 3DS.
Yeah, 3DS.
Either way. But yeah, no, I think it was a really unique way of handling a new, like, creating a unique element for making the game stand out. Did you guys have many instances where you felt like your character went down but gave that bit of damage and helped out, or how did you guys find it?
Oh, you mean like
yeah? Oh, it's called Desperate Mode, by the way.
Desperate Mode?
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, that saved me. I gotta show you. I'm not sure if Tubby wants to put this on. I might send a clip, but the last. It's a spoiler. The last form of the last boss, I was in Desperate Mode. The last attack that I did with my last party member, everyone else was dead, killed the boss, and I beat it in my first try. I was like, should I try to do a different attack than I just did? I said, F it. And then I just
didn't launch it.
You just attack, and then it literally, I don't know how much, it was so close to killing the boss with the HP. That is where it helped me. Also, I got spoilers since we are doing this.
Spoilers.
Just trying to.
You've been warned again. All right.
Oh, Zorv.
Yeah.
Zorv. The alien. That's his name. You know who I'm talking about. The green.
Yeah. Zoidberg.
So Zorv. He has an ability. Well, I'm not sure what level you had to get to, but basically, when you're in that mode of almost dying, you can do an attack, and then after you do the attack, it won't kill you, so you'll still be alive. So that helped out a few times when I was playing. And also, I feel like someone else has it. There were a couple of characters that had that specific skill. If they're in that mode and you do an attack, it won't kill them. So that, yeah, I agree, Genji. That actually helped way more than I thought. Pretty much all the skills were useful in some way or another. Depending on how you play, which I was so surprised by the variety of the skills and how they all work.
You could just swap them in and out depending on your situation and that. So
exactly.
But I think the Desperate Mode really creates like really good, like this what you just said, Nikki. So I think it creates really good moments where. Just really good story moments where it creates unique gameplay in a RPG that might be somewhat like lots of people go, oh, it's very linear, it's point A to point B, kind of, there are the side missions, but it creates those elements of dynamic gameplay, which I think really benefit, especially being a more indie-based game.
Oh, yeah. 100% agree.
That sense of intensity. And also, sweat. Since this game is based on like 80s action movies, it actually makes sense to have that mode. It gives, especially that last boss, I just literally one-shotted. And then I wouldn't get that feeling in another game. My characters would just be dead. But that one last chance was like literally an ending of a movie.
It's like Call of Duty when you get that one perk where you can go down after dying and still shoot people with your pistol.
Oh, Martyrdom. Probably not. I think it's the one where you just like blow yourself up with a grenade.
It's the one where I think I've not played, but like in Modern Warfare 3, where you go down and you've got like your pistol where you can still shoot them or whatever, like Last Stand or something.
There you
go.
Actually, I think that's right. Last Stand.
It's just like Cosmic Star Hero is just like Call of Duty.
Yeah, 100%. Exactly the same game, actually. So once you play one, you don't need to play the other.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
I'm done.
Okay. What is one thing you did not like, and how would you improve it?
Ooh, I think just cause. See, I don't know. Sometimes I kind of rushed it on some parts. I wish there was a mini map. Give me a mini map. God dang it. When I was on the desert, I swear I was running around in circles. I was like, where am I? And I was like, and then I realized there's lights. So I can't really say this is more my fault.
No, I feel you.
Yeah.
It didn't, like, especially that planet. It was for.
Yeah. Or the city.
Yeah, it's weird because, like, old school JRPGs, they did that, actually. A lot of it would be, you know, you kind of have to use your own information that you've gained and figure out where exactly you'd have to go.
Yeah, but it just says west.
Yeah.
Like, oh, west. And I'm like, okay, I'm dead end.
Go to the
But then
police
there's-
headquarters. Okay, which one is that?
Yeah. And then there's the inside button where she like explains what you're supposed to do. But a lot of times she's like, oh, I'm really bored right now. And I'm like, okay, you're not really helping me right now.
Cool. Help, please.
Yeah, bored.
That's such good insight. I'm
No,
so
it
glad
makes
you're worried
sense.
about
Yeah, I'm like lost on the ship and I press the inside. She's like, I'm really liking it here. And I'm like, okay, what am I supposed to do? I'm just
Yeah.
running around talking to people.
See, that there's hints in those insights. I'm bored right here. Plank
Yeah.
boards, wood on the ship. See, it all makes sense.
I don't think the ships were made of wood, though.
Like,
I don't
oh, when you first got on the ship, right after like the first city, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know how they're telling you to go to a different planet?
Yes.
Dude, I got lost. Like, okay, so because there's three levels on that whole entire ship, and all of it's just talking. So so like yeah, every person you talk to, they're just talking, just like whatever. I didn't know you're supposed to go on the actual control panel and go to the planet. So so I spent like 30 minutes talking to every single person on the ship trying to figure out what to do. Like, go to planet Zufur. And I'm like, okay. Cool.
How?
Where do I? Yeah, how? I'm like walking to the like bay, and I'm like trying to talk to everything, and I'm like, how do I get to this ship? Just give me
Press
like
A on everything.
yeah, that's what I was doing. I was pressing A on everything, and the last thing I pressed A on was the actual globe or the control panel. I was like, are you kidding me right now?
Yeah, but you're the captain of the ship. You should know where your own controls
Yeah,
are.
okay. I'm the new captain of this ship.
It's just you. You just assumed the role.
But yeah, I think just give me a mini map or like a point.
Whoa, calm down.
Or what? Like a pointer?
A pointer?
Maybe not the pointer.
What is this called?
Yeah, give me Call of Duty. Just give me a mini map. Well, at least a mini map to know where what the structure is of the whole building.
Okay, fair enough. I'll give you that.
Like the city. When I was trying to find places, like you know when you go back to the city to do your side quests,
Mm-hmm.
like I didn't know where anything was. Yeah, I still did the whole. Yeah, and then when you walk through like an area to enter the area, right? It doesn't explain because you just press A and you're in to the area, like you're on the road, and I'm like, oh, still, where is this warehouse?
Oh my god. Nope.
Yeah,
I understand. I feel you.
and that's it. Give me a mini map. Yeah. And change her moves up. Water sucks. Give her fire or something.
I want to change my element.
Yeah, give me a different element. Water sucks. All right, get me out of here next.
Oh my gosh, so funny you said that. I wish I could write down something else I didn't like about the game, but we're on the same wavelength.
Hey, way off.
For anyone that knows me, I can't follow stories for the life of me. Dialogue, whether it's written or verbal, it's in one ear, out the other. Or in the case of reading dialogue, I can read just fine. But my brain just refuses to retain any information whatsoever for whatever reason. It's just how my brain works. Being that Cosmic Star Heroine told its story purely through readable dialogue, I knew from the very beginning that I was doomed. I wasn't going to understand what was happening or why or who was who and how did I get here to where I was.
I mean, you got the gist of it though, right?
Yeah. You talk to people, right?
Yeah.
I was spamming A. Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
But like, despite knowing in the back of my mind that the story would be difficult for me to follow, I persisted. I tried my hardest to understand. But long story short, yeah, I get the gist. I kind of get the gist.
All right, what's it about?
Don't worry about it. It's secret.
Cosmic Star Heroine.
One sentence or less.
At any rate, save the universe, galaxy.
Actually, yeah, congrats. That actually is yep, that's the answer. Okay, all right.
Got it.
Space.
Yeah, space. But there were times where there would be like parts with like lengthy dialogue. You know, I'm following, but then like the longer the dialogue is, my brain just slowly starts to space out and just turn to mush. By the time the dialogue was over, it became time for me to move on to the next area, right? And then this was specifically my problem. I didn't know where this next area was. I didn't know who I had to talk to or what I had to do. I was so lost. I would try and recall the best of my ability, you know, like what it was I just read. You know, what I just read this. What did it say? But my brain offers me like zero intel. And because of this, I often found myself having to Google what the next step was.
You monster.
I know. I'm disgusting. More times than I'd like to admit. To solve the problem, I really would have liked for this game to have a freaking mini map or a map or a quest log, you know, anything of that sort. Please. I mean, maybe I'm just spoiled from, you know, modern games just having that on by default, you know, but I don't know. This would have saved me a huge headache.
Like 2017.
Yeah, modern, but with a lot of emphasis on old school.
Yeah,
JRPG
they were going for that
mechanics.
old school feel. Yeah, but although I'm very well aware that you can thoroughly enjoy the game without a mini map, and you know, so long as you can you know, follow the story like a normal person whose brain retains information. But I feel like I needed something like a handicap, just so that I could enjoy the game to its fullest. You know, I love and appreciate games with storylines and characters, and especially games like these JRPGs. And so it hurt me to know that there were all these valuable and interesting pieces of the story that I had just missed, and it just completely went over my head. And but after beating the game, I did hop on YouTube and watch a video on the game story just to make myself feel better. Yeah,
Let's figure out what the heck is going on.
Yeah. I was like, oh, okay. So it was like after beating the game, my brain was just a bunch of puzzle pieces just all over the place. It's incomplete. But after watching the YouTube video, I kind of completed the puzzle in my head, and I'm like, oh, okay, so that's that. Oh, that's who this person is. That's why I had to go do this. All right, it makes sense. Yeah, it's the mini map, quest log, anything. Help me, God, please. Next. All right.
So I thought about this long and hard because there's a few things that I would have definitely modified, changed, outright just rebooted, so to say. Haha. Not memes, what the heck? Jokes referencing that one Dave character who used all of the terminology notes about computers. Literally, one of his moves is FAQ. So, gross. I mean, but anyway, the one that I had to bring this up because this is probably the only reason I spent longer on the game than I thought I would have. And it's not because I sucked at the game or anything, but the characters, when they're following behind you, I don't know if it happened to me or anyone else, but they would just get stuck on each other. And if you're like running around town, if you're running around town, if you're just running around like on the map or whatever, and they're following you, and you're not trying to fight, they'll just sort of they just sort of teleport. They'll re-teleport next to you, and then they'll get stuck on each other again, trying to like walk.
Oh, that's weird. That never happened to me. What
it's
the
like
heck?
having a bunch of old people speed walking past each other at the mall, just trying to cut corners.
Oh, you're talking about, okay. I had the same thing. I know what you're talking about now.
Yeah, so this happened to me the entire game. Like, the more I had characters attached, so you know how you start off as yourself and then you add more people to your party. This just happened over and over again. And since the fights start as soon as like you encounter the enemy, they would be stuck on each other, shuffling into place.
Okay.
Until they got into place. And this would take, I think the longest it took for one fight was at least 30 seconds.
Oh my god.
Because it doesn't start until they're in place.
Oh,
right?
not that long. Damn, 30 seconds?
Yeah, I was like, how long am I going to sit here watching them just
get ready to fight?
They're glitching into each other. And it was like, it's funny for a while, but then for 9 hours straight of this, I'm like, dude.
Wow, that's interesting.
I remember yelling at my screen. I was like, hurry up! What are you guys doing?
Like,
you guys lost?
What the heck?
I had so many other things I wanted to say, but this one just killed me. It happened to every fight. Every single one. Even the boss fight. You just see them.
Oh, there you go. That is the reason why we state what platform we played on. Both of you guys played on Steam, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
Wow.
It was so funny.
Wow.
But also, like, when you are trying to fight some of the things that actually hurt on normal difficulty, and you have to restart the fight by changing out your team, you just see them go back into place for another 10, 15 seconds. It's like cutscenes you can't skip. It's like that. It feels worse.
Unlucky.
Because at least with the cutscenes I can't skip, I can go wander away, grab a snack or something. But with these, I know it's not going to be that long, but it's just long enough to irritate me.
Wow.
And I
fix
guess
your game.
The only way to fix that sort of flaw is, programming whatever the bug is that's making it do that.
Get good.
Well, the original platform. Wait, doesn't make any sense because it was originally on PS4 and PC. It looks like.
All the more reason why I'm confused.
I don't know why I wrote Windows and PC. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Or is it?
Or is it? Okay.
That's true. But yeah, that's the thing I'd change. That glitch. that one. That's the only thing.
Hurry up.
All right.
Quit lollygagging. I'm trying to fight this monster.
Wow, it never happened to me.
God, I can't believe you actually had to wait for them to get into place.
That's horrible.
Okay.
9 hours.
I didn't read it because I thought it was funny.
Okay.
And I started playing when I was sleep deprived, so I'm just like, oh my gosh, please. I just want to get to the next part. I've been grinding against these monsters for a while now. Please.
All right.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I said next already. Yeah.
So for me, this is a personal thing. There were times where I could not, for the life of me, figure out what exactly I was looking for. Mostly because the story-specific quest item I was looking for would just blend in seamlessly with the background. One example where this happened was in the large swamp area, pretty much like, I think it's the second world where it has like probably the largest map in the game. It's the large swamp area where you need to find the 2 eyes for a statue to move forward. Like the first one was easy. It was in that one dude's hut. But the one that was hidden in the nest, I freaking swear, I honestly circled that swamp so many times. I don't know what I was doing wrong. I got fed up and I looked it up. And of course, lo and behold,
it's at the top right.
It was at the top right. I was running past it all this time. It was on this like purplish flower platform that looked like, to me, it looked like it was part of the map design. But apparently I could have just walked over there and just picked it up. So how would I improve it? I would make the stuff pop out a little bit more. I'm blind. My eyesight is getting poor due to my old age. So this is getting more difficult for me to see that kind of stuff. It only happened like 2 times though. It was this here, and then the second time was in the ant people's planet looking for the computer terminal, which was like located on the side of a building. I didn't know why I didn't. Yeah, I was like, in retrospect, it makes a lot of sense. They did say there was a terminal.
Yeah,
you
can also look into the computer and see the areas too. They're lit up.
For some reason, I kept thinking the terminal was going to be in the building where that was having the weird power issue. Because
I
So stuff like that. It's kind of funny though, because if you really think about it, a lot of JRPGs back in the day, they kind of did that, where they would. A lot of the story beats of how to proceed were always like text heavy. Like they didn't really have we're kind of spoiled nowadays. They didn't really have like a quest log saying, "Oh yeah, you have to talk to blah 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 located over here at this point." So
you can use your insight, and Alyssa will say what your current objective is to do.
Yeah, kind of like a general idea.
But they don't give you a hint. Point it out to you.
Yeah. But yeah, for me,
I will say that
oh, go ahead, Genji.
No, you go. Keep going.
For me, it's just the visual cue, the visual design of everything. It's just again, a few instances it was just difficult to kind of see what exactly I was looking for. I knew what I was looking for. I just didn't know how it's supposed to look. There you go. That's about it. Go ahead, Genji.
I will agree that I did find times that I was looking a few things up because I'm kind of like, I don't know exactly where it is I'm meant to be finding this. And I found that there were a few times I did end up walking past what I was meant to be guessing. I think sometimes the objective with what you're meant to be collecting does blend in a bit with the environment and does make it hard to see what it is exactly that you're looking for. So I do have to agree that I think sometimes the art style can conflict with trying to find what it is you're looking for.
Okay. Thank you, Genji.
It's okay.
Apparently,
you're not that old yet.
I'm old, man. My back. But actually yesterday, it's funny because that was actually one of the biggest dislikes from a lot of people had to either do with UI navigation or pretty much just that aspect of the game. Everything else was fine. You'll see when this thing goes up in 2 years.
It's so weird because I didn't really have that issue.
You also have to remember that a lot of the other people in the other recording session, they grew up from a different generation than us.
Well, maybe they're you know what?
No, sorry. Let me take it back. I mean, generation from me. Okay, I'm the old guy, so respect your elders.
Oh, okay.
All right,
Sai, you're good.
But yeah, next.
As a youngin who grew up on the Game Boy Advance, don't have much experience with these games.
Yeah, see, Genji's a young stud over here. But I'm done with mine. Next.
All right. Well, oddly enough, even though I liked the different abilities the cast had, having 11 characters by the end felt like it was too much. And initially, I only expected 6 because, I was like, okay, I was looking at the screen. Typical JRPGs. You could like fill them out on the screen like 1, 2, 3, 4. I was like counting. I was like, you'll probably get 6
or at least 8. One backup
or
page.
8. But I didn't expect like to get 11 by the end. And I wish it was less. And also something that you mentioned earlier on in the recording when you got the side stories, that happens around like 70% into the game, like almost near like the end of the game. All those side quests happen. And it does like talk about like the character a little bit more and goes into a little bit more about their story and stuff or their personal life. But unfortunately, by 70%, honestly, I only did 50%. I wanted to do more, but I kind of didn't care because it was like I was near the end of the game.
Yeah.
I wish it gave me that stuff like 25 or 50% into the game, but it was like literally like 75% before, and then like everyone else's side quest opens up at the same time. And I did do like a few, just to see how it is for the recording and if I would like it. And they are fun things to do. There are good challenges, and you do get rewards like weapons and for certain characters that are really strong, and it did help out. But yeah, just having so many characters to juggle through, even though they all made their abilities, some were kind of rehashed between some characters. Like some had skills that were on their shields that were their main abilities. Specifically, the ant, Saibe, he had the healing, which was also like a shield item. And there was some little redundancy in terms of items and skills overlapping. So even though I liked all the characters in terms of like, it was cool getting one each time. I wish it really focused on the smaller group.
Yeah.
Maybe went more into their, a little bit more into their backstories or character development, just to flesh them out more. Even if they stuck with the first, 4 characters or 3 characters that you start out with, and it goes deeper into that. But this it feels like too much bloat.
Yeah.
Even though I like the change up. It's kind of where I like the change up because I wasn't expecting it.
Like the randomness of it. You're like, oh my god, you're in my party now. Why?
But it's like a lot of the characters. I feel like they just join just to join.
Dude, and what's worse is like if you notice, like the game will continue, but a lot of the characters got sidelined too. Like they would have their moment, their introduction, and then you wouldn't see them anymore. Example, Robo Dancing Guy. Like I want to hear more of what he was gonna say, but he was just quiet until the very, very end. Like he did his thing, you escaped with him, and then you didn't hear from him ever again.
I always went back like every quest. When you go back to your ship, you can talk to people, and they all say different things, and it's funny. But besides that, yeah, like in party, in story, while walking around, I know what you mean. You don't hear from those characters at all, even though they're in your party technically.
Yeah. It's a shame. I agree with you though. They could have cut back a little bit.
I agree with everything except when you insulted Ant Guy.
His name is Anthony.
Oh, technically, he had the most reason to be in our party. Actually,
he did.
Yeah.
He had a huge reason.
I didn't have an issue with that, but he had some. He had skills from like shields and stuff.
I will say that I do agree. And I think though, almost there's a benefit with having an array of characters because it meant that everyone was so diverse with their play style because none of us had the same set of characters. And obviously they choose to focus on
except Khan.
Certain characters more. Yeah.
Everyone had Khan, Gunmincy.
I used her in and out, but here are just other characters I like better.
But I like that she could have her. You could set her up to target every enemy. I thought that was really the reason I kept her around. But I think there are some characters that do get focused on more than others. But I think that's typical as per most games. Not that that's a good thing. But I enjoyed the fact there was such an array of characters, and you could swap out abilities and let them have some abilities similar to others. So that way, if you liked certain things about different characters, you almost had like a blend, so it meant to a much bigger choice of play styles. So I'd almost argue that the blend of having characters you like mishmash with abilities is almost a benefit because it adds more variety and approaches to the game, especially on harder difficulties, I would argue.
Yeah,
it does give more of a.
But that's.
I don't really have an issue too much with the gameplay.
The gameplay is fine. I'm just talking about
mostly like story.
Yeah, the character building.
I guess. Yeah, if we're going back to character building, then I think there's definitely certain characters you get focused on a lot more than others.
Dancing robot.
He is the best. He is around just for moral support.
Oh man.
But next.
Okay. I'm going to talk about this one very, very small element of the game that I think really cost me an entire point. Like I was going, this game's like a 9 until this one moment. I'm like, fuck it, it's an 8 now. And it's that one mini boss near the end of the game where you have to build pretty much a specific party to kill him. Otherwise, he instant kills every single one of your characters.
Oh, I have no idea who that is. Who is that?
Which boss?
It was like that one mini boss just before you fight like the major bosses. I forget his. Forget what his name.
Just throw out a name, Genji.
Steven.
All right, Steven. All right, go ahead.
So Steven. So there's a boss called Steven near the end of the game. There isn't a major boss, but at least in my runs against, he would instant kill. Yeah. So Steven would one-shot each of your characters one by one, and unless you did, for me personally, I changed my entire party, changed all my abilities, looked it up in order to figure out how to kill him, because the amount of damage he does is enough to one-shot each and every one of your party members. It's a mandatory boss fight, and if you don't do certain things in order to build up specific damage, he will kill your entire party.
Wait, and he was along the way, like you couldn't get past him unless you fight him.
Nah, he was mandatory, and I found that I had to look up on a forum how other people killed him. I followed step-by-step guides in order to build up the damage, in order to actually kill him, because there was no way for me to kill him unless I built my party around him specifically, and he was the only boss, the only enemy in the game that I had to do that for, and it really frustrated me because it was a very jarring and frustrating experience.
I think I know that guy. I think I know Steve.
Dare I say, I didn't die at all during that last part of any of the bosses.
Humble.
Hard difficulty. So all I'm gonna say is skill issue.
Uh-oh. And Genji?
But I did have my party built on the last area. I noticed there were robots, so I built my team to deal with robots. So that's also something. I don't know what team I had, but I didn't swap out any team members going into that last gauntlet.
Oh. Okay. Genji?
My reply is
Yes.
that we can't all be as good as Unikutsu.
Well,
Also, I did beat the game while I had COVID, so I will blame it on the COVID.
Right,
All right.
That is like a negative 50% penalty.
Yeah. That decreases damage by exactly, negative 50%.
Yeah.
So.
You're right.
But
You know
I found so many people on forums complaining about him and having the exact same issue I had. So it's not a issue I know.
You know those
just
people
for
on
me
the
alone.
forums, Genji. You know those people on the forums? All I can say
They
is
just need to get good.
skill issue. Just need to get good. Nah.
Oh, look, I'm getting old in my 25-year-old age.
That's okay. Join the old man club. Come over here. Okay. So the thing though you did not like was it specifically that
It was that one specific boss fight where I had to rearrange my party just to fight him.
Okay.
Or her. I'm not going to assume Steven's gender.
Yeah. Steven neutral. Okay?
They?
They? No, but then what if they'll classify themselves as more than one?
No,
What
they
if-
is a general term, as in like
They
Yeah.
she.
is plural. That's plural.
They
No.
suck.
No, it's used for plural and singular.
But they
Yeah.
don't, but this
You can-
it's not either.
No, it's a general term. Wait, what?
I saw the game manual. Anyways, going to question 5. Last question. What is your final verdict and final rating from 0 to 10 using a 0.5 scale?
All right. Okay, so considering this game was tailored for, considering that most JRPGs are like over 80, 90 hours, 50 hours.
Like 1,000 hours?
Yeah, like 1,000 hours.
Uh-huh.
This one was tailored to be very short, which I appreciated because this is one of the games I could find. But this game was made really well, especially with the fighting, like the stats and how much stuff could keep you on it to learn to fight these monsters. It did feel, and then also it gave you a lot of options for your playstyle with having a short story. The artwork's great. I feel like it did fall off with the navigation. I didn't really like that part. The scenery was nice, and I also did have a problem with the everything was kind of annoying, like with the UI. I don't know if I think that was just me, but
during combat,
not the combat. I think it was just me
Like
and my
the
controller
menus?
was like menus and stuff. Yeah. Considering that there was no navigation, you really had to listen on to these conversations, which you should normally do. But
yeah,
but a lot of dialogue felt shallow on what you're supposed to do. Granted, these maps are tailored for a was it One Direction? What's another word for that?
Linear.
Oh, it was very linear. Yeah, a lot of these maps were kind of built to be linear, which for a JRPG is kind of different because the side quests weren't really like out there for you to finish. Because I'm pretty sure I missed a lot.
Because you had to
Just
talk to certain people at certain
you had to
times.
talk. Yeah, especially for the festival scene, you get these things, but you don't know what to do. Like you just talk to this person, and they don't give you quest dialogue or quest notifications that you have this side quest to do. So with all of that, this game was very good. So for a score, I'll give Cosmic Star Heroine of Space and Time Fighting Aliens an 8 out of 10.
Wow, 8 out of 10. That's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Thank you. Yeah. Next.
Okay, Cosmic Star Heroine. I'm giving the game an 8 out of 10.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Cosmic Star Heroine. It was interesting to say the least. A spamming simulator. Just kidding.
Guilty.
Yeah, right. The combat, although was a struggle for me initially, became something that I grew quite fond of, and I enjoyed the more that I played. It wasn't like any other turn-based combat game I've ever experienced, really. And I feel that each turn-based combat game should all have their own, specific niches about them that identify them, make them unique, and separate them from the majority. And this game, they pulled it off rather nicely. I mean, just think about like the amount of balancing that the developers would have had to go through in order to make the game to its state where it is now. There's a lot going on in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And aside from combat, I really like the art style of the game. The whole 16-bit style visuals, look and feel gave me that wicked nostalgia to my early gaming days in the 90s.
When I was a wee lad.
Back in my day.
Back in the old days.
Yeah. And as far as the story, at least from what my brain could gather, seemed interesting. Cosmic Star Heroine is a game I'll never forget. Unfortunately, I wish I could say that was a good thing. I mean that in a more traumatic sense, because of how absolutely freaking lost I was. I was that lost. It was bad. I honestly spent an embarrassing chunk of my gameplay on Google trying to figure out what the heck I was supposed to be doing, and that to me is my justification for its score. Cosmic Star Heroine has punished me in ways I'll never recover from. Therefore, I feel obligated to do the same. Therefore, it gets an 8 out of 10 from me. Like I remember, what is it? Last week I had a day off, so I went to IHOP, and I brought my Switch with me. I was like, all right, let's do some progression.
Okay.
Get a nice meal in, progressing this game. The entire time I spent from ordering my food to finishing my food, I was Googling, what the hell am I supposed to do? I made zero progress. Oh man, I felt so defeated, but the food was good.
There you go. That's what matters.
Yeah, 8 out of 10. Cosmic Star Heroine. Next.
Okay.
I know this isn't Genshin Impact, but do you crave eternity? Is it your sole desire? Well, not in Cosmic Star Heroine. This is a sci-fi RPG fantasy game of a diverse cast of fighters who all get swept along for a ride in a spaceship or whatever it's called. I think they mentioned Leviathan at some point. But it doesn't matter your species or your allegiances, because at some point, if the galaxy is in danger, you too will beat up everything in your path to probably save it. Because I am still confused on some of the characters' intentions here. But
all right,
with the glitches and the style, the gameplay, the diversity of it all, I was touched. I was okay with this. I kind of liked it. So I give Cosmic Star Heroine with an E, because if it's without the E, that's something very different. 7.5 pixels out of 10.
7.5. Why?
Please refer to.
Yay!
This is your genre.
I know.
What you live and breathe.
All the more reason for me to be harsher on it, but not too harsh because I actually did enjoy myself.
7.5. It wasn't Persona.
That's fair.
No, it's not Persona. 7.5. It's not Tales. 7.5 is not Final Fantasy.
So what? How come it didn't break the 8 mark for you personally?
Personally,
Realistically, seriously, realistically,
For real.
For real. What's the real reason you gave it a 7.5?
On God.
well,
Curious.
so like there were a handful of glitches I came across, like to the point I actually like fell through the ground on the second to last chapter.
my
And I
God.
had to quit.
What the frick?
Yeah, like I got
All right, I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, so I was playing last night, just trying to finish before bed, and then I realized I couldn't see my characters anymore, and they had phased through the ground or something, and I could see my camera, like, you know, it kept moving around, following where I'm moving, but I couldn't see them, and I couldn't leave, like, a small box. So I couldn't go to the next area, I couldn't go back.
Dang.
So I was like, well, it's like 2 a.m., I guess I'll just go to bed and play later.
So it's mostly the bugs.
The bugs were in the way, and then
The bugs and Goofy.
and I guess how do I explain? It felt like the what's the word? The difficulty didn't seem to flow in a way that made sense.
Mm-hmm.
Because I played on normal, but there were some fights that felt like they should have been, you know, at least a little bit challenging, or like maybe, you know, actually like grind if I was playing on a harder difficulty, for example.
Hard mode.
Oh,
Yeah, but like if I were to play on just normal, which is kind of base level for most people playing, right? I feel like unless it's like new, then you'd go to like the easy one. It just felt like it was still too easy, but hard felt too hard.
No,
And then that
hard
one fight
hard
that
was
did-
the best, actually.
But then that one fight in normal mode felt like Cosmic Star Heroine difficulty.
yeah. Yeah.
Just, there was and the way that the story went, it felt so. I know it's a short game, and there's so much depth in all these other areas, but it made it hard for me to care about some things because of how quickly it went through them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know
Oh.
what you mean.
It's 1,000
Yeah.
So, like,
hours.
overall, I enjoyed it if I didn't nitpick it. And because we were technically supposed to nitpick it for this verdict part, yeah, I couldn't give it an 8, but I enjoyed it enough to give it more than a 7.
All right. Fair enough.
okay, that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cosmic Star Hermione is a solid all-around JRPG and serves as a homage to old school JRPGs. You know, games like Wild Arms, Chrono Trigger, and Bug's Life. You know, it's great. I enjoyed the time I spent with it, and I really, really enjoyed their in-depth, streamlined approach to combat. Just like, it's such a small thing, but like starting fights, and instead of going into a completely different splash screen, like the fight happens at that location and they get into position. Like that was great. At the same time, I felt the game played it pretty safe. Like it had the old school JRPG formula down to the T, but it just didn't really do anything major to set it apart from other games of the same genre, in my opinion. Like the story was about what you would expect it to be. Save the world. A lot of the story moments that were exciting was just because of how absurd some of the situations they got into were great. But the overall story was kind of what you expected. Character variety was great. Never thought I would ever team up with a psychic ant or a disco dancing robot. But you know what? In complete honesty, not every game always has to reinvent the wheel for every game we do in the book club. I enjoyed my time with this game. I enjoyed it. It's a great, solid JRPG. If you love that style of game, definitely play this, and definitely play it on hard if you have the opportunity, because you will really like it. So yeah, I'm giving Starship Heroine Drug Lords a 7.5 out of 10. Next.
All right. Well, I really enjoyed my time with this game. There were some flaws, some issues. I wish it had less characters. I do agree with environmental cues, and I didn't bring it up, but I also had a couple of visual bugs going on in the game. Like when characters, when they're in your party walking, they kind of warp to you. Sometimes you have to wait for them to get into position during missions.
Yeah, but Jordan had a lot of that yesterday. Just talking about it.
Loading screen. Sometimes it put down the background, the black background down the screen when you're going in and out of an elevator. So that was a little bit weird. But other than that, I had a blast with this game. And actually, I think the combat, it does set itself apart from like other past JRPGs by using a hyper system. Having that type of tension and building up a system where you deal more damage or your status effects gets more effective. Also with the desperate mode that Genji mentioned earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And also something it does, it heals you after every battle.
So I freaking love that. Yeah.
So I do think there is a lot of like some stuff that actually does, change it up from traditional JRPGs in terms of the combat. In terms of the story, they set out just to do an 80s action movie. I even think that was on their website. Like, pretty much a simple story. So they did aim what they went for. Actually, save the galaxy.
Oh, sorry. Save the galaxy.
So everything pretty much what you would expect in terms of story. But I don't know. I just had a blast, especially when the game opened up and I didn't expect because I usually when I go into these, I don't really look at different trailers too much or the synopsis. I tend to go in completely blind, so I don't have any biases towards anything. Overall, my experience, while it's not a perfect game, it could stand to do better. I do think it is a really enjoyable experience, especially if you play on higher difficulty, like Tubby was saying. I think that's the optimal way, in my opinion, to really enjoy the game where you have to think about it. Yeah. In order, and out of 10, I give it a 1. I'm just joking.
Dang, it is number 1.
Yeah. On the scale of 0 to 10, I give it a solid 8.5.
All right.
Next.
Cool. So I find it's in the world of just everything taking up your time with so many different games and work and life commitments and that, I find a shorter RPG to be a really appealing thing. I feel like the game really respects your time with different mechanics and different elements that it chooses to implement. I like the wide variety of characters and the ability to mishmash abilities and take on fights as you wish. Also the ability to just have a good time while you're playing it. I feel like it's a game that you can focus onto the story and get something out of it, or you can just play the gameplay if you want to focus on that and have a really good time with that one. I think there are definitely a few things that could be improved for it, but I think it's a very solid experience, and for the amount I paid for it, I think I'd be insane to complain too much about it in the grand scheme of things. On a scale of 0 to 13.75, I'm going to give it a 1 plus 7.
Dang, a 1 plus 7. All right, so
the highest rating I can give
of all time
today.
So, if we calculate Genji's math and we add it into all the other math, with that said, Cosmic Star Heroine Club gets our final average rating of 79.2%. Or 47.5 out of 60. Bonus mystery question time! It's time. It's over. Bonus mystery questions were prepared ahead of time by everyone here, but no one knows who or what will be asking the question. Time to spin the wheel of mystery. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. You can't even see it, but it's okay.
I want to see it.
You can't see it.
Please.
And it landed on
2 out of 3.
Wow, unbelievable. Okay, so the bonus mystery question asker is Shaishen. Ask us your question, man. Ask us your question. What you got? What you got?
All right. Considering that there was so much random freaking abilities in this game, okay, considering that there's so much random crap in this game, for how many characters have their own like what? One guy was a disco robot? Excuse me?
Classic.
I think I'm just gonna please just make it wacky. It doesn't have to be legit. It doesn't have to be cool.
You mean
that's the criteria for this question?
You mean like a character?
Yeah. If you were in space, yeah. If you were in space, what would be like? Okay, what would be your space call sign with like your powers and stuff?
Your space call.
So we had gun, like not call sign, but like
class?
Yeah. Well, what would be like
Title?
your
like,
title?
Like a character class and
yeah, because we had like wait, what was the main character? Like staff?
Yeah, like a staff.
And then the other character was Gunmancy.
Yeah.
The other person had a gun and lawyering.
Yeah.
Like if you were to live your best life in space while killing aliens, what would it be?
What's your character in this game?
Yeah, what's your character in this game?
Which character do you like?
Which character would you become?
It's funny.
All right.
It's a very similar question, but I can't actually think of an answer.
Okay, so the finalized version of your question is
can you refine it, please? I don't got English.
So in this game, if you had to, I guess, create a character from the sounds of it, what type of character would it be? I guess like abilities, maybe quick backstory on it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was like the one I could think of.
Create your heroine drug lord character.
What's your Cosmic Star heroine?
Yeah, there you go. Okay, sounds good. Let's give them 60 seconds here.
Throughout the cosmic galaxy, what would be your signature Cosmic Star heroine? What would be your signature Cosmic Star heroine? You know, no one really wants a girl with a bow staff acting like she could control water. What would you be?
All right. So, what would you be?
Only you can prevent forest fires. All right, so what I be
commit forest fires. What did you say?
What?
Okay, for Cosmic Star,
Yeah.
for me, I would be a Cosmic Star villain.
Ooh, okay. Go on.
Change it up. I would be, so you know how in the game there was that guy who just beats people up while he was like the commissioner?
Yeah, with the shades.
Yeah, but for me, I would actually successfully destroy the commission and become the Cosmic Star Lord. Okay,
Dang.
I would have taken control of the machine, and I would have destroyed every single person who didn't bow down to me. Okay.
Dang.
First of all, the dude in the story was kind of whack because he was like, "I'll show you real power." Nah, you failed. I'm gonna become the real power because I have gauntlets now. Put that in real quick.
Okay.
I have gauntlets, and I'm gonna beat everybody up who didn't listen to the only true God, the one God, Cosmic Star
Lord.
Lord.
So you're basically a villain with gauntlets who's actually gonna win.
Yeah, I'm the guy who actually won this story instead of just leaving it out to, oh, we can save the galaxy. Nah, you're gone. You become one of my robots.
Thanks.
Anyways, destroy the galaxy.
So just destroy the galaxy. Basically,
Hardcore.
wait a second. This is just the plot of Avengers. but you won. But you won.
Yeah, I'm one. Basically,
You're part
I'm the
one.
villain story. Yeah. I'm endgame, but Thanos wins.
There you go. Amen.
He's like, I'm immense.
First legit Star Lord.
Yeah, so when I get my gauntlet, I'll be like, I'm abominable.
Snowman.
I prevent forest fires.
Or I'm medical. I'm medical, or whatever he says.
Inevitable.
I'm Becebidal.
Yep. That's exactly
I'm
what it says.
medicinal. All right, yeah. Destroy the galaxy. Next.
All right.
All right. I don't know. This question's kind of hard just because of how many options there are. More or less.
Sorry.
My no, you're good. Really got me thinking. But my Cosmic Star Heroine would look like Cybe because I've never seen, like a bug that looks so freaking cool and badass. But that's just how he would look. He would just look like Cybe. But as far as the skill set goes, would probably have something like like Lauren's skills. Everything's like related to music and stuff like that.
Oh, sick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I would have a sidekick like Chan. But so yeah, like a Cybe like bug that is like super into music. Like he stuns with a microphone and does stuff with his guitar and does damage.
Sick.
Powerful escape.
Like yeah.
Powerful escape.
Yeah, like that. Yeah. Yeah. A bug that skills like Lauren.
All right. Name your bug. Name your starship heroine.
Ant.
Lauren.
Yeah. Starship bug.
Wait,
His name is Ant.
Ant. All right.
His name is Ant.
Take it.
Because he looks like an ant. So his name is Ant.
So it's just a special version of that ant race.
It's
Named
like
Ant.
if Lauren and Cyber have a baby.
Ooh, I mean, they never said it was.
Okay.
illegal.
I don't know about.
Okay.
Pause. No.
Research. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
That's it. Next.
Next. Okay. Edit again. Right here after McMahon meet.
It was like 5 seconds.
Okay. Ready?
Yes.
Start now.
So my choice of Cosmic Star, Heroine, if I were to be in this game as a character, playable character in this party, I thought, there's so many unique ones, but let's go back to something classic. Mostly because I have a lot of pets, and I conveniently heard them all make noise at the same time, so I just was inspired by this and be like a beast tamer of the different planets.
Okay.
Right?
Like it.
Oh.
So like I got my birds, right? They do wind damage or whatever, and then you got whatever my fish can do. Water damage, probably. I don't know, fire? That'd be cool.
Why not?
My cat, I don't freaking know.
Physical.
Poison, because that doesn't really make sense. That'd be hilarious.
There you go.
Just it's more strong as ghosts.
Okay.
I don't know. I swear that she can see ghosts or something. She always stares at the ceiling. Or no, it gets bugs. Perfect.
So it's like that drone girl, but with animals.
Yeah, but each beast, so to say, is from a different, planet. They're all cool.
Oh,
looking and alien
universe.
looking.
I mean, not universe. Planet.
I'd be more useful because
Creatures.
you wouldn't have to wait like 3 turns for something magical to happen.
Dang.
I'd have different pets for different occasions that have different abilities, etc., etc.
Dang, you sound like a DLC character.
Yes.
Yeah.
You gotta pay extra for that.
So that's actually...
So yeah, I was gonna be a cool planet hopping beast tamer person character thing. Yes, and I can't heal very well, so I hopefully I can just debuff things and hopefully do a little bit of damage, and that's it. I gotta keep myself nice and
expensive.
No, you gotta keep it. I'm trying to not. I'm not trying to sound overpowered. Okay?
You sound like a 5-star.
Yeah, you
character.
you gotta roll for that.
Let's see. Whip out the credit card for that
Roll
one.
90 times, maybe you'll get it. No.
No. You're gonna get the hacking dude.
Yeah, so beast tamer, an alien tamer, a Balian tamer.
Balian. So my character, brand new character, hot off the presses. Her name would be Gasha the Geisha. So she's a Japanese geisha heroine, and this is definitely not because we were playing a lot of Monster Hunter lately, but yeah, Japanese geisha that can only be unlocked by visiting this world, this level called Gachopolis. So it's an area that can be accessed early in the game, early access. We love letting players have early access, but it comes at a price. The price being that every step you take in the world, you lose 100 in-game credits. And if you have no more in-game credits, the world explodes and you have to start again. So what makes it worse is that this triple S 5-star heroine can be located anywhere in Gachopolis. Do you guys remember Pokemon Gold and Silver, where Latios and Latios would just keep changing areas when you're trying to catch them?
Yeah.
You remember that?
Wait, no, I don't.
You don't?
No, because Latios and Latios was Gen 3, Gold and Silver were Gen 2.
Oh, sorry. All right, Gen 3.
Do you mean Entei? Oh, I was going to say there's Entei, Suicune, and that, which...
Yeah, but... Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, though. Like, the Pokemon that evade you.
Yeah.
Actively evade you. We're gonna apply that to this game now. Because you know how the game is divided into areas? Yeah. It's an incredibly large level, but she'll always be in a different area every time you switch areas. And in addition, you're losing in-game credits. So basically for her, she's just like any 5-star summon that you would try to get in any, not saying any specific gacha game, but just like any gacha game in general, where she's actively dodging you. Like she's trying to dodge your summons and your pull rates. So yeah, but if you do happen to get her and you don't go broke in the process in the game, it's really strong. Really strong. Can one-shot everything. The trick is actually getting her though. So... And then backstory-wise, the developers actually didn't care to put a backstory together for her because, it's waifu bait. And a lot of people were going to get it anyway. So, yeah, that's mine. The geisha. Gasha. Next.
I can't have a full set because 60 seconds. It's too hard to make a full build and backstory. But that was a questionable question, Chai. But anyway... I have something here. I'm going to just my character is Steven, which may or may have not been taken from Genji's the character he mentioned later on.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's just say my character name is Steven, and he wields his primary weapon is an axe. And unlike poison, the bleed damage increases for every attack. Now, for items, what would some items be in this game? You gotta think of some items, and I'm just gonna go sort of along with Tubby in the same vein of gacha, but specifically Primo Gems from Genshin Impact.
Dang, is it a crossover now?
Yeah, so
crap.
You can do a pull, and you'll get a random item from the loot pool of your party, and then you'll be able to use that. So any item that your current party has, you'll be able to spend some Primo Gems, some currency. And also I should mention that your character has a money gauge, so your money goes down by buying these items, so you can only do it a few times per battle.
Dang. Real money or in-game money?
In-game money.
Okay. That hesitation kind of scared me.
Yeah. No. Not going that far.
Okay.
And for their special ability, since we have gacha games, what goes good with gacha and
credit cards?
Spending stuff?
Oh.
No. Alcohol.
Okay. Ooh. That's a good one.
For every sip that you take, your dodge gets better, but it also lowers your team's morale. So, every time you just take a sip, you're unhittable, but your team's morale goes down. So basically your team gets weaker, but you get stronger. That's a good trade-off. However, there's a second ability that you have on your shield, and it's called Sober Up. So it reduces your speed, but increases your damage. So you have a little bit of a trade off there. You get hit more, but you can increase damage, or you can drink yourself to death, and but you won't get hit.
I do like that
but
option.
your team will get weaker.
Yeah.
So
that's worth it.
So all together.
Yeah. You have to reload your save.
Yeah, and Steven is also an ant. It's related to Saibi from the game.
Dang. It's like Saibi's uncle. Drunken uncle.
Yeah.
All right.
Next.
Okay, so I've gone one step better. I've also designed my character. So if you look at the Discord, I have uploaded a photo of Keith, my metal worm-like creature.
Oh my God, actually do something.
So Keith, his backstory is he comes from a planet of metal worms, and what's happened is that bounty hunters have come to the planet to extract his worm friends because in his top hat looking thing, it's not actually a hat, it's his brain. So his brain's exposed, and by harvesting the brain, it holds the secret to saving the universe from potentially upcoming threats from the religion Worm Egan.
Wait, so in the lore, how is he? What's his affiliation with the ant people? Like, are they cool? Are they enemies?
The ant people regard them as their true ancestors.
Oh, ancestors! I got it.
Yep. So what ancestors? Yep. So they're metal worms, are the original ants, and the ants have emerged out of the metal like a cocoon. The metal is a cocoon, and the ants come out of the metal worm. So what's happened is the bounty hunters have come to extract the brains because it holds the secret to saving the universe. So the worm people are not happy because they're poor. Hence the money with the X's through it, they're poor. And the worms are pretty useless in battle for the most part. They have no attacks. They cry a lot. But they have this one ability where if you keep using it over and over again, what will happen is that it will build up power in that. And then when the worm dies, it will explode. But it will cause 50% of total damage dealt to every enemy and 1% to your teammates because, worm guts everywhere.
Holy crap.
You can't equip it with any weapons at all, but you can keep having it take damage. And then all of a sudden, when it explodes, the enemies have a nice, tasty worm delight all over their bodies.
Wow. With consent?
0 consent is given.
Oof. Dude, that's
what makes it extra painful.
That's a hard sell. I can't put this worm in my party. I don't want to get canceled.
So that is Keith. My cosmic star Hermione.
Dang, a cosmic star Hermione. Jeez. And all these characters are free, right? Everyone, your characters are free?
No. You have to. No, 1 cent of real life.
1 cent.
Oh, my character. No, it's DLC.
God, how much?
It's not that bad. $50.
You Genshi, what's your character's price? No, you said 1 cent.
Yeah, 1 cent.
That's still a lot, though. Because you have to also think about tax. The tax will be worth more than the penny.
However, you can pay 5 cents and not pay any tax. You can avoid the tax.
All right, 5 cents. All right. I'll get in a bundle. Get everybody's character. And that concludes this episode of Video Game Book Club. Thank you for tuning in. And as always, everyone's links to their stuff, if they have any stuff, is in the description box below. Take care. Have a good one. And we'll catch you in the next episode of Video Game Book Club. Say goodbye, everyone. Good night. Nap time.
Good night.
Bye, everyone.